Hi, I'm in denial and over the past few days I've had a pretty solid erection. However, at times it has felt like I've been on the receiving end of a pretty solid erection, which normally I'd just call a Wednesday. But the issue is that DICE has a pretty big schlong and they also insist on using coarse grit as lube. As a non-sexual analogy, this means that I've been playing the new Battlefield 2042 over the past few days, and whilst there has been moments that I've enjoyed, this being the proud owner of a rigid cylindrical tube of meat attached to my pelvis region in our sexy time analogy, I've also experienced many instances of what many might call a broken game, or as I'll refer to it, getting anally violated by a Swedish game developer whose name rhymes with birth control device. I apologise that I was unable to stay off the topic of sexual analogies for more than one sentence. But anyway, as a bit of background for the past few days, I pre-ordered the Battlefield 2042 Gold Edition a week or so ago for the Xbox One, and as soon as the early access commenced, I was there, ready and waiting, mouth open wide, just waiting for DICE to dump their latest load straight into my mouth. Yum, salty. I played that game pretty much solidly all day on the Xbox One, and it was shit. Non-stop glitching, textures not rendering properly, stuttering equal to that of a water sprinkler with chronic Tourette, and a whole host of other issues. For me, it bordered on unplayable. Why it performed so badly on a previous generation console, I have no idea. Maybe it was just down to my particular console, but I don't actually know if that would even make a difference, but whatever. So halfway through creating a video based on my experience on the Xbox One, I did as any financially sane person would and decided to purchase a PS5, which thanks to the recent success of my anal polishing side hustle, spotlessrooms.com, I was easily able to afford. That was a lie. I took out a loan, which was probably a very questionable financial decision, so yeah. Subscribe for more terrible life decisions just like this. Anyway, financial destitution aside, I managed to obtain a PS5, and I have to say, the difference in performance was night and day, black and white. Actually, let's not use black and white as a comparison, as I'm about to say one is better than the other, and I'm not a racist. But yeah, the difference truly was female and male. That was also a joke. I'm not sexist. Sexism is dumb, and being dumb is for women. Yes, there are still a ton of issues, but at least you're able to actually play the game on next-gen consoles. Well, on PS5 anyway. I'm not sure about Xbox. Anyway, enough about my recent history. In this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on Battlefield 2042, with a primary focus on the standard multiplayer mode called All-Out Warfare. So, as a mentally challenged horny teenager once said as he looked at his dog's bumhole, "It's showtime!" To start things off, let me just say before anyone takes any of my comments about Battlefield 2042 as a personal insult against them, their family and their floppy half-inch micro-penis. Probably not the best thing to say to stay on the right side of people, but yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, these are just my personal opinions of the game as it is right now on the 17th of November, so with the obligatory I'm about to talk shit about a game disclaimer out of the way, let's start with the gunplay. In Battlefield 2042, there are currently 19 primary weapons from a variety of gun classes. They are the SMGs, assault rifles, LMGs, marksman rifles, snipers and the utility stroke shotguns. There are also an additional 3 sidearms. This is 11 less primary weapons than Battlefield 1 and 5 launched with. I can't wait to create a best LMGs in Battlefield 2042 video when there's a choice of only 2 LMGs, which unfortunately for you will mean a lot more of me talking complete and utter bullshit about how an LMG's drum strikes an uncanny resemblance to what I imagine the Hulk's big green scrotum looks like. We're good! So yeah, look forward to that one. There's a load more guns in the Portal game mode, but that's a topic for another video. I'm sure there'll also be a lot more guns added as new content is released. With regards to how the guns actually feel, I'd assume probably quite metallic. Excuse me, whilst I'll go and give my cock 30 lashes for such a shit joke. Okay, that was meant to be a punishment, instead I just came after only 2 strikes, but I digress. The gunplay is decent. Not exceptional, not terrible, but just decent really. It's like getting a prostitute that is the exact doppelganger of your crush. Pretty good, but it isn't actually your crush. But it sure is better than another night in with Pamela Henderson. I do have an issue with hit registration though, in as much as I feel like I'm mugging a paraplegic. I know I'm hitting that little sucker, but the hits just ain't registering. Sometimes I can unload an entire clip into them and they just sit there in their wheelchair screaming with their eyes. I mean, other players on the battlefield is what I meant. Now, this could be due to just a general classic DICE fuck-up, or it could be down to one of DICE's intentional fuck-ups named Bloom, and no, I'm not talking about Legolas, swashbuckling pirate Will Turner, and Katy Perry hole filler. I'm talking piece of wank gun mechanic that adds random deviation to your shots, meaning that you can be aiming at point A, but your bullets will randomly hit within a certain area around and including point A. So yeah, it needs improving or removing. Next, let's talk maps, which is a phrase I'd highly recommend to get women. Nothing turns a woman on quicker than cartography, the study and practice of making and using maps. Everyone thinks it's the Hollywood movie stars that are rolling in the pus, but no, it's the cartographers. But anyway, the maps. We have 7 maps as of right now, and they're massive, and as is the case with your prostate, bigger isn't always better. Remember to give yourself regular prostate exams, people, by fisting yourself. I think that's right. Yeah, let's go with that. Yes, the maps are quite impressive, but the huge vast areas of literally nothing makes getting to objectives about as fun as getting fucked in the ass by a Swedish game developer. Wait a minute. Making things worse is the complete lack of cover, meaning that unless you have a vehicle, you're probably going to die before you reach your objective. And on the topic of vehicles, I think it probably was DICE's intention that vehicles be used more to get around these huge maps, hence the vehicle drop-in system. But the issue there is that, like the PS5, there never seems to be any in stock, and unlike in real life where you can just suck the right dick to increase your odds of procuring a PS5, which I cannot confirm nor deny doing, let's just say that I now have a PS5 and AIDS, so read into that as you will. But yeah, until DICE adds a cocksucking feature to spawn a vehicle, vehicles are in short supply, so a long hike it will have to be. As the maps are so large, I have pretty much exclusively been playing the breakthrough game mode, as at least then you play small portions of the map at any one time, versus in Conquest where the entire map is played. But even then, you'll still experience vast expanses of nothing, a common side effect of most antidepressants, which I only know because I used to work as a pharmacist until I got fired for swapping everyone's pills for Viagra. I tried to justify it by explaining that stiff competition is the best type of competition, but apparently 15 customers had died and the rest have erections, so yeah. The map design, particularly for Breakthrough, also seems a bit ill thought out. On a few of the maps, one of the objectives is on a rooftop of a tall building, only accessible through lifts, I think stairways, and of course helicopters. But once occupied by the enemy team, it is very near impossible to penetrate, which may be the first time in a video I've used the word penetrate without relating to a penis entering a vagina and or anus, so yeah, progress. Jumping back to vehicles now, and it does seem that the maps were almost designed for the vehicles and not so much for infantry, which as a primarily infantry type player is bad news for me, but no worse than finding out what I thought was a scab on my balls was actually my penis. Moving on, the Hovercraft in Battlefield 2042 is a beautiful thing, and is probably a bit on the overpowered side, but until it gets nerfed, I plan on committing many forms of vehicular manslaughter. I also plan on killing many players in Battlefield 2042 with the Hovercraft. But like many things in this game, the Hovercraft 2 suffers from being a little bit broken, thus resulting in it being able to stick to walls like shit on a wooden spoon. Delicious. Next, let's take a little look at the specialists. There are 10 specialists, each with their own unique traits, 2 of which are locked until you reach a certain level, and 1, Dozer, had been castrated of his unique trait because apparently DICE didn't realise that he was a literal god who could deflect tank rounds. It's in the Bible, look it up. But yeah, I suppose it was an easy thing to miss. So with Jisoo, I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but oh well, currently locked, I can't really comment on her, but the rest I can, so I will. For me, there are a few decent specialists. Sundance with her bingo wingsuit and smart explosives, Boris with his wall hack turret, McKay and his groping hook, and Irish with his deployable wall courtesy of Donald Trump and shoot down sentinel. The rest are like handjobs. Good, but they're not anal. Now, some annoyances. So besides the map design and gun bloom or hit registration, there's a few things that, how best to say it, really grind my nutsack into a fleshy pulp that could be fed to cattle as a nutritional supplement. So here goes. First is the leaderboard, or complete lack of leaderboard. I'm not joking when I say that I'm seriously considering heading to DICE headquarters and performing some kind of demonstration in protest against the leaderboard discrimination. Unfortunately for them, it will be a 365 day per year demonstration of how to masturbate whilst maintaining constant eye contact with DICE employees. So if anyone wants to join me, leave a comment below. But seriously, why would you remove the thing that most likely 100% of players use throughout a match? I heard somewhere that it might be because when players see themselves at the bottom of the leaderboard, they're more likely to go and play hopscotch down a highway, which doesn't concern DICE or EA or whoever the fuck one bit. But what does bother them is someone quitting their game. And I don't know about all that, I just know that there should be a leaderboard, and there isn't. So DICE, be ready for me next Friday, and if you could put someone attractive at your front desk, that would be much appreciated. I don't want to have to masturbate whilst maintaining strong eye contact with Larry, though I will if I have to. Next is the lag. It seems that at some point in most servers I experienced some form of lag, which I suppose in the year 2042 could just be a way of life. You're doing the sex with your significant other when you just lag and glitch through the wall to your sleeping child's room next door, where you explode, and the next morning you have to explain to your child that the mayonnaise monster exists and that it wasn't you who just lagged through the wall and came on their face. It's nowhere near as bad as I experienced it on Xbox One, but it's still a bitch. I don't know whether it could just be that I'm getting into servers that are not within my region, but as there's no server browser, I guess I'll never know. Which brings me to my next point. There's no server browser, which I think is a pretty essential feature that allows you to search by map, by ping, by your sexual preference, and allows you to sort by probability of getting balls dunked in your mouth. I could be confusing the server browser with something else, but whatever. Where's my server browser? Next are the various glitches. Glitches such as being stuck in crouch, glitches such as being downed but not being able to respawn, glitches such as getting into a vehicle and then killing yourself by shooting yourself getting into the vehicle, glitches such as it costing me nearly £100. So I think that just about covers the big points I have, and there are quite a few other small annoyances such as dying every 30 seconds, not being able to revive players when you should be able, bad spawns and so on, but I think again, these are all points for another video. And just to repeat myself like Aunt Sally with advanced stage dementia, that's better. I do think the game has potential, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's to come, and hopefully everything is fixable, though I am slightly concerned that though it may be fixable, DICE may not want to fix it, but I suppose only time will tell. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like, let me know your thoughts on Battlefield 2042 down below, and subscribe for more questionable content just like this.